So you morons in the translation slash localization community are hissing and moaning because you're losing your jobs to basically the next generation of Google Translate. I'm sorry, but you kind of did it to yourself. And before you send me a whole lot of hate to my channels, like, oh, you have no viewers, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. This is my opinion, and you're going to hear it if you stick around for the video long enough. Look, automation has been replacing people at jobs since before, way before my time. Automotive industry, a lot of the mining industry, like a lot of jobs have been replaced by automation. Um, they got a lot of pity actually from their communities and such. You know why they did? They did because they were contributing something. Now, I will admit that translating entertainment is contributing a thing, but you become a detriment to your own cause when you insert a bunch of BS that no one really cares about. For example, most people who watch anime, why is Yugi Moto okay, but Judai, what was it? Judai Yuki, I think was his. I could be wrong on the pronunciation or even the name entirely because I grew up with the American version of it, which was Jaden Yuki. Why is Yugi Moto not okay, but the other one is? And to further expound on this point, you swung right back around to Yusei Fudo in 5Ds. So, I mean, this isn't so much about, like, well, it is about the stupid Western jokes in Japanese media that make no sense. There is not a single Western person talking about the patriarchy. I'm going to tell you that right now. They don't care. That is an American first world issue, and it only fucking happens here. Sorry. Here in Europe, my bad. Um, not in Japan. They don't care. In fact, you bring that kind of BS over there, it's going to get the same reaction as that YouTuber who got arrested for interfering with police business or whatever he got nailed for. I do forget what he got nailed for, but I know he got nailed. And that's your problem. That is your disconnect from the culture over there to over here. And that kind of is really the bigger issue. Um, we don't care what you think about Japanese culture. We don't care what you think about American culture. We watch anime, we watch dubbed anime especially, because we want to hear, spoken in our own language, the viewpoints and some of the comedy and entertainment that Japan has over there. Which, by the way, even, I'm gonna say, to your credit, even with the stupid BS in it, is still doing a little bit better, in my opinion, than most American media. In fact, actually, I would argue that a lot of it is. Look at what's look at what's happening to Disney and our comic book industry. The fact that our comics are doing worse than anime is, or manga, I should say, because anime is the television or DVD or whatever medium you use for animated. Compare manga to Western, the big two in Western comics. That's DC and Marvel. Uh, Manga's taking them to friggin' town. Even though you guys keep watching basically the translations and localizations with a bunch of westernized jokes and stuff that no one cares about. Literally no one. Um, so to get back to the point though, you know, the reason you're getting hate and backlash is not what you think. It has nothing to do with sexism or fascism. In fact, if you left the stupid Western jokes, and I'll say there are some right wing jokes in there too in anime, they're few and far between, but they do exist. That you can tell were like forced into it. That's the stuff we don't want to see. We don't care about that. We live with that every day. Are you kidding? We want to see. It's like that refreshing breath of fresh air after being stuck in a room full of farts all day. Are you kidding? Or better yet, a hot car full of farts all day. And that's really what it is. Anime and video games are supposed to be an escape from the stupid political BS that we oh my god that we have to freaking deal with these days. And before you say, but Zero, your channel content is mostly conservative ranting. You're right, I'll give you that. But that's because this is my YouTube channel. This is not what I do for. Well, I do kind of do it because I kind of enjoy playing video games on it. But like, I don't do the ranting and raving because it's fun. I do it because I'm irritated. It has nothing to do with where I really. Well, I mean, sometimes where a lot of the time where I stand on things does come into play because I'm annoyed. But if you actually sat down and had a real logical conversation with me about these things, you'd understand why I see things the way that I do. Take the overly emotional "oh really" session that I put out that was like 12 minutes long. I think it was yesterday because I was surfing through Twitter and I found this chuckle nuts that lives in my state who decided stealing from a work truck that came here to help fix our problem from another state. They thought stealing $1,000 worth of equipment was a good idea. I went whole ham because that's not right. It's not okay. Get a job, do a YouTube video, try to get some viewers, do something. Don't steal from the people who are trying to help you and your state. Was where I went with that. And, it's a good point. It's a very good point that I'm pretty sure 90% of the population, if not 100%, would actually agree with. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. It's that basic. The problem here is that you're doing basically the same thing when you zoom out to the like 3,000 foot view of things. Um, you need to realize that your companies that you're localizing or translating for, they get paid by the people who purchase this content. So sitting here calling them all kinds of names, really bad business strategy because they're just going to say, well, fine, we'll just go find pirate sources or we just won't partake at all. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And oh, by the way, how bad is it going to look for your company when someone gets sued from someone overseas for piracy? And the first thing that comes out of their mouth is going to be, well, I got tired of listening to a bunch of stupid Western jokes getting inserted by X person who works at X company. How bad is that going to make you look as a person, and how bad is that going to make your overriding company look? It's not going to look good to the Japanese community, and they're going to stop coming to you like they are doing right now, and they're looking at AI as a viable alternative to you, which kind of goes to my next point about AI and automation, like I was saying about the automotive industry and the coal industry. Automotive industry is sucked because it put people out of jobs, and they were much loved people who were good at their jobs, and the list kind of goes on and on. The problem is that you took your community trust and you just kind of opened your fly and whizzed all over it. Basically, it is the best analogy I can come up with. It's what you guys did. You did it to yourselves. So when you come to us saying, oh, well, the Japanese companies are looking at AI to replace us localizers at a faster rate of translation and a bunch of other things, the sympathy's not there because you destroyed your community trust by coming up with all these bad, really bad translations and insertions of off-color jokes that aren't even related to the source material. Um, you've lost your community faith at that point. And, people can defend you all that they want by saying, oh, my jobs. Well, oh, my jobs when, AI replaces everyone. And I could just sit here and click a button, type a couple of words about what my political viewpoint of something is, the argument I'm trying to make is, and it can just instantly create a video for me using my exact face. It's coming. It's common, and people don't realize it, and it gets worse for you after that because then after it's done with you localizers and translators, after you've gone extinct basically, it's going to be the animators next. And what's going to happen is they'll be able to type in Japan what they want the voice to say, They're going to be able to type in the colors that need to go with what character, and then you're going to have AI generated anime in and of itself that's both released subtitled and dubbed in the same day, released here in the US, and they didn't have to pay a single American a single penny to do it. That is coming. You might not like it, and God help me, I actually don't like it either because there are a lot of like really good people that aren't you chuckle nuts that are just eroding the trust. But there are a lot of other good people in that community that are going to get hurt by this as well. And that I think is the part that the anime community is wrong on is that it's just like it's not the localizer community as a whole. It's just like a couple. There are, and it's more than a couple. It's like a handful of really nasty people who probably shouldn't even have a job working at a gas station, if we're being honest, judging by their Twitter responses in general. Um, Sorry, truth is the truth, and it hurts. I've made obviously a good auto mechanic, but a bad customer service representative. Does that mean that I should work in an auto shop? Yes. Does that mean that I should work at the service counter? Probably not. You know, it, and there's nothing wrong with changing your profession or your career. Like, seriously. Oh, I spent 20 years doing translations for an anime. Oh, no. I got fired for making crappy jokes and the Japanese went to AI. Well, I'm sorry, but the crappy jokes part of that's kind of what's costing you your really any sort of real support from anime fans. And as someone who really would rather watch dubbed anime over subbed anime, because and this hot take of mine gets a lot of backlash, but if I'm gonna want to read something, I'm gonna go buy a manga, not a subtitled anime. I'm sorry, but that's just how I operate. I'd rather, if I'm gonna be reading it anyway, I'd rather just read the manga. There it is, said it. Um, yeah, and changing stuff in anime and manga, really, come on. We got better things to change in this country. Let's look at our southern border. Let's look at the constant bickering between the parties. Let's look at the fact that we dump more money into foreign countries than we do into fixing our own problems. Like literally, we have a homeless crisis all over the country. It's really bad in California. Maine's starting to see it too. Like, come on. You're gonna sit here and argue about first world problems like who is getting replaced doing dubbed anime when you could be out there finding new homes for the homeless, which before you say anything, actually I have assisted a couple of people find homes. I have. In fact, actually, if it wasn't for family, I'd probably be one of those people. Um yeah. yeah. You know. And another thing is I love trashing on Biden for the economy because it's just fun to do. The reality is that there are things that we the people need to start doing to fix the economy as well. Number one, we do need to tighten down the belts a little bit. Like every time I turn around, best example, best example on the planet, this push for electric vehicles. You want me, who, by the way, who struggles as an auto mechanic, who owns a car that he's constantly working on, that he purchased for like $300 to $600. You want me to turn around and go out and buy an EV for $80,000? You're brain dead. You need to get out of your job. You need to be replaced by someone who's actually in touch with the real world. Which, if you think that everyone is able to go to a dealership and set up a $400 a month or more plan to pay for a vehicle, you're just as brain dead as the other guy. You're so far out of touch with reality that you need to stop sniffing your own farts and start realizing that you're just covered in crap. You're no longer full of it. It's evacuated your system and you're just covered in it at this point. And everyone can see and smell it. And that's your problem is you've gotten so far out of touch with the rest of society that you think that you're right and you're not. But that's my take. Take it or leave it. Don't really care what you do with it. comment on it. Heck, let's start a little comment controversy. Let's crash YouTube with bad comments and good comments, and just make it all go nuts. Yes, before you ask, I do intend to more or less be the Joker of the platform. I would love nothing more than to make a video that gets so many comments and so much interaction that YouTube has no choice but to shut me down because it just completely screws their network. That's what I want to do. That's what I'd love to do. Mr. Beast hasn't done it yet. I want to do it. I want to go so hard in the comments section that they need like 30 librarians to catalog that crap. Will I get it? Yeah, probably not. But it'd be fun. Even you gotta admit that would be fun. Just watching them try to panic and figure out how to handle it. But yeah, we're gonna leave it at that. You wanna keep having a paying job, that's fine. Do your job. Do it right. That's all that your community is saying. Because I guarantee you, if you did your job right in the first place, they'd have your back. Sorry, but that's the truth. I don't know what else to tell you. Stop doing stuff wrong. It's like quit trying to sell someone a Snickers when they ordered a package of Reese's Pieces. It's like, how hard is it? The Snickers are there, the Reese's Pieces are there. Stop trying to sell them the wrong thing when they want one or the other. Like, duh, it's basic business. The fact that you don't have the awareness to understand that is just beyond me. But yeah, we'll leave it alone. I'll let you guys fight amongst yourselves now that this video's been made. Um, really don't usually do videos like this. They usually end up in my Oh Really playlist as a live broadcast. So we're going to try something different. We're going to try posting this stuff under pre-made videos rather than live recordings.